Okay, for exercise number 5, chapter 7, section 6, we are asked to find the Fourier series of this piecewise function. All right, so I already wrote the general solution to this. I'm not going to write the equation that we can find in the book anyway. So we can start with A naught is equals to 1 over L, and I already want to start with finding L. So we know that the period is equals to 2 pi, and the period is equals to 2L, of course. Therefore, L is equals to pi. So I'm just going to start writing down already pi. And then the integral from negative pi to 0 of 0 dx, which turns out to be equal to 0, plus the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of negative 1 dx, plus the integral from pi over 2 to pi of 1 dx. So if we solve this, we're going to get that is equals to 1 over pi times the integral of that is going to be negative x times pi over 2 minus from 0 to pi over 2 plus x from pi over 2 to pi. So these two things will equals to 1 over pi times negative pi over 2 plus 0 plus pi minus pi over 2. So these things cancel each other, and it turns out that A naught is equals to 0. Now AN is equals to 1. AN is equals to 1 over pi times, again, the integral from 0 to negative pi to pi of 0 cosine of n pi x over pi, because it's over the length, plus, and I can start already relating these things, so I'm just going to put an x, and this actually turns out to be all 0. And then the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of negative 1 cosine of nx dx, plus the integral from pi over 2 to pi of cosine of nx dx. I already erased the pi because I know that even by this it's going to be deleted. Anyway, so here I get equals to 1 over pi times the integral of that is going to be equals to negative sine of nx over n from 0 to pi over 2 plus the sine of nx over n. Oops, let me just, okay. Over n from pi over 2 to pi. Okay. So here I get that is equals to, again, 1 over pi in front of everything. And then negative sine of n pi over 2. Actually, I'm going to take an n in front of everything because n doesn't matter. So n pi, I'm just going to just stop rewriting it. So sine of n pi over 2 plus sine of 0, which is equals to 0. And then the second term will be plus sine of n pi, which we know is equals to 0 as well, minus sine of n pi over 2. So out of this, pretty clearly we get 2 over n pi, and a negative in front, sine of n pi over 2. Okay, and this is our A of n. Now B of n is equals to what? Well, 1 over pi again, and then multiply by the integrals from negative pi actually, to 0 of 0 times sine of, it will be again n pi x over the length, which length is equals to pi, semi-period, and then we cancel the pi, and we get an x, and then this one turns out to be 0 anyway, but we can use this one for the rest, so integral from 0 to pi over 2 of negative 1 sine of nx dx. plus the integral from pi over 2 to pi of 1 sine of nx dx. Okay. So out of this we get 1 over pi is equals to the integral from 0. Actually, I'm going to derive the integrate already. So 0 to pi over 2, I'm going to get is equals to actually cosine of nx over n from 0 to pi over 2 plus, actually, the integral of sine is going to be negative cosine, so negative cosine of nx over n over, starting from pi over 2 to pi. Okay, so here is equals to, actually I'm going to do it just on the side. So, okay, so we get equals to 1 over pi that multiplies, again, cosine of, I'm going to take the n in front like we did before, so I'm going to start raising stuff, n pi, okay. Cosine of n pi over 2 minus cosine of 0, which is actually equals to 1, equals to 1. Then the second term is going to be equals to minus. Then we get cosine of n pi, minus the cosine of n pi over 2. Okay, so we're going to get 1 over n pi times, if we solve this, we're going to get 2 cosine of n pi over 2 minus 1 minus cosine of n pi. So this is our final solution. We're going to rewrite f of x now. F of x is equals to a naught, which is equals to 0. So I'm just going to write 0, plus the summation of, from n equals to 1 to infinity, of a of n. A of n with z is equals to this value right here, times cosine of nx plus bn. Bn with z is equals to this value right here instead, times sine of nx. And this is the final solution of our problem. You can, for example, write down the n equals 1, n equals 2, equals 3, but this is the general solution. And you can find the first terms, but this is the general solution, and it will work with how many terms you want to find.